burgers.
I'm low-key not right. Well, damn, I thought I had a lot of force. Yes, Dad.
My hair.
My sister has to do all the work.
It gives me the freedom of not having to deal with my hat.
Oh, where's your office? You only have two.
No, I would have to do that.
They don't like the
Thank you for everything, Queen Rainey.
My legs are shining. Everything's shining.
Yeah, does it?
single last pieces. We both look stupid. It looks like you don't do anything.
Last night.
I'm dead.
I'm gonna go up AMSA something tomorrow.
Oh my God.
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? It's an honor and a privilege to welcome AMSA faculty and staff, members of our Board of Trustees, families, friends, and last but not least, our wonderful class of 2019. So I switched up a little bit. I wrote some stuff down for my little welcome speech here. Seniors, you all had to write a research paper this year, correct? You all remember that? I secretly, all year, was working on one as well. I showed it to Mr. Smith about a week ago. He wouldn't even accept it. It's one page, it's right here. One page. I think it's size 26 font. It's bold. Not great punctuation. He gave me it was a verbal F. He gave me a verbal F. He said, I can't accept that, Ms. Nawrocki. But there's valuable stuff in here I wanted to share with you before I pass it on to Mr. Proulx. I wanted to share some information with you. I did a little research. I looked at your 6th grade year. You all entered AMSA in 2012. In 2012, let me backtrack. The name of my paper is Did You Know? So it's a Did You Know paper. In 6th grade, when you came in here to AMSA, when you arrived at AMSA, we had 9 AP classes that were offered. 2019, we have 17 AP classes that are now offered. Athletics, we had 14 programs back in 2012 when you first arrived. Now we have 23 athletic programs. 2012, sticking with athletics, we had 18 teams when you were in 6th grade that represented our school. Now we have 40. Clubs, our after-school academic clubs, extracurricular clubs, we offered 11 when you were in 6th grade. We now offer 44. Lastly, field trips. Class field trips. This does not include our out-of-country field trips, just our class field trips. 6th grade, our school hosted 5 class field trips. This year, we hosted 12. These numbers right here, I hope that you had time to sort of digest that. These numbers grew you had a major impact on those numbers, on that increase. Your intellectual curiosity and your willingness and your drive and just your willingness to represent us at athletic events, academic events, all over the state. I want to thank all of you. It's the last time I get to talk to all of you. You were all great. Anything you ever need, please feel free to come back, visit, come back to the Back to the Future events. Anything you need, just contact us. We're here for you always. Thanks, class of 2019. Next, I'm going to introduce your wonderful class advisor, who is the keynote speaker tonight, Mr. Peter Proulx.
That picked up a lot. All right. Good evening. I'd like to extend my thanks and appreciation for my opportunity here to speak tonight to all of you, and more directly to you, class of 2019. Exactly 10 years ago to this day, guess what? I graduated from high school. I graduated from Tohoto Regional High School in a small town of Boylston, just 15 minutes away from this very theater. Go Boylston, go Stags. I remember walking through the halls of my school one last time with my fellow graduates and thinking what was next for me. What would I do once I left this building that had assisted in my development to be an athlete, a scholar, and what I like to think, a decent member of society? One thing was for certain. There would be things that I could control and things I could not. From that moment on, 10 years ago, I received my diploma, moved my tassel from right to left, just like you are going to do tonight, and I threw that ridiculous hunter green mortarboard into the sun-filled sky. I knew I would try to live my life by a simple credo relating back to my AP English Literature class. Where have you come from, and where are you going? This short, yet what has proven to be an influential question in my life, has helped me throughout my years since high school, and I hope it can assist you in the years to come. Tonight, you are sitting together the final time as students of the Advanced Math and Science Academy, and you will soon become alumni. For some of you, you have been ready for this moment for a very, very long time. Others, you may be anxious. You may be anxious about, what's going to come tomorrow, what's going to come the next day, the week, the month after this night. And then for some of you, may just be completely apathetic to the entire situation, just continue on as if nothing's changed. But whatever you feel tonight, I want you to take time to reflect and consider this question. Where have you come from, and where are you going? The question first asks us to reflect on our experiences. Class of 2019, remember all that you have done which has led you to this moment. In this theater, all 113 of you sitting in front of me have in one way or another been connected by your experiences. But none makes you stronger as a whole than sharing in the experience that is AMSA. Yes, there have been some things that are completely unorthodox compared to other high schools, such as lockers in the cafeteria, the same place that you eat also being our school's boardroom, and yes, also serving as the Performing Arts Center. But I think a lot of you will leave. You will leave with the memory of that sweet, sweet smell from those trees outside the upper school. But more importantly, you have shown strength and commitment to excel and conquer the academic and extracurricular feats that only a few schools in the state and even the country can compare to. How did you do it? How did you get through 13 courses in 8th grade? Physics, chemistry, biology, all the other ologies that you had to study. How did you make it through AP GoPo, AP Lang, AP Physics, soccer practice, and hold a job? It truly baffles me. It truly baffles me with all that you have accomplished with the opportunities that have been given to you. I do, though, have an idea of what has helped you achieve those strenuous and worthwhile goals. It was through your grit. It was through your unwillingness to say, I can't, and your compassion to help each other when school and even when life got too tough. Too often do we hear people say, this is too hard, or I give up, from people who are presented with a problem. Too often are we discouraged from accomplishing a goal because it seems just too crazy or too massive a task. You, class of 2019, have proven what can be done with the right mentality, and most notably, making the right choices. You have chosen rigor over ease. You have chosen maturity over juvenile, and what I think is most vital to your success, your integrity over deceit. You were not the only one that helped you get to this spot tonight. No, you weren't alone. Again, where have you come from? You have come from numerous cities and towns and immersed yourself at a prestigious school with administrators, staff, and teachers who wish nothing more than to see you succeed. Yes, tonight is about recognizing the accomplishments that you have made in your young lives, but do not forget what has led you to this point. parents and guardians who made the drive every morning to make sure that you got to 201 Forest Street, counselors who helped you guide you to the path that you have chosen, technological support staff who've enabled you to receive a modern technology-filled education, teachers who have put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into making sure that your experience at AMSA is both captivating and enriching. And finally, you had each other. Throughout your journey at AMSA, you developed a fellowship that no one else shares. You have texted, you have snapped, you have tweeted, you have called, and yes, 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 you have even conversed face to face with one another. Never lose that. Never lose that willingness to help someone in need or to reach out when assistance is required. It is through our relationships and who we choose to surround ourselves with that we make ourselves stronger. I have no doubt, and after witnessing the cooperation and companionship of your class, that you will have no trouble seeking out new relationships in the coming months. Yes, thinking about our past, our daily routines, excuse me, I'm just getting choked up. Our daily routines, our friends, what is familiar to us, and knowing it will be changing is very frightening. But consider this not a moment to fear. Consider this a moment to seize. What will you do with your next chapter? This class of 2019 is the most fantastic part of this moment. It has not yet been written. You have control over it. You are the one that dictates your life. Up to this point, you have had to fill requirements and take courses that may not interest you. But now, what will you do when that choice is yours? What will you do? What will you do when the opportunities of the future are presented to you? Think on your past, learn from it, apply it, and see what has helped you get you to this point, and find out the answer. Where are you going? I know this part of the question is daunting because it is unknown to us. We don't know. Some will ask, but Mr. Proulx, I don't know yet. I'm only 18. I haven't given it much thought. To that I say, that's fine. But consider this. Do what you do with purpose. Do what you do knowing it's for good. Action without purpose is action without thought. You have worked too hard. You have worked, and I'm going to say this again, you have worked too hard and have come too far to become members of society who choose not to think. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? And why do I want to do this? You'd be surprised when you contemplate those questions how much easier life can be when you consider the purpose of your actions. Now, some of you may not know the answer to where you are going right now, but you can still think about how you are going to get there. It is about the process, not the result, that matters most to most of us. That class of 2019 is a very important lesson to take from this. Okay? The process, not the result. Not everything in life is going to go the way that we want it. Believe me, we do not get the dream jobs that we had in kindergarten. If we did, I'd be working with the Bruins right now, working to get that Stanley Cup, and then working as a dentist on the weekend so that way I can make money off my teammates. Sorry for the dad joke. But seriously, not everything goes our way, but we can dictate how we conduct ourselves and attempt to reach the results we desire. Will we conduct ourselves with grace and integrity? Will we take a leap of faith and put trust in someone or something? Will you persevere when adversity presents itself? I hope you do. Choose not what is easy, but do what is right. For that demonstrates your true character, and that will guide you to the results you desire. Remember, at the end of the day, you need to live with all the decisions that you make. So choose the decisions that will bring you moments of happiness, but above all else, pride. Be proud of the person you are choosing to become, and do not let others make you feel any lesser for choosing the path that you choose to trek. Remember to trust yourself and work towards that positive line of progress. Do not become obsessed about results because you will lose what is so very important. You will lose that sense, all right, of that progress, of that process that we were talking about earlier. We see it every day. We live in a world of now, and we become incredibly frustrated when it doesn't happen the first try. We start to compromise our values, not just community, excellence, and integrity, but everything. everything that we hold near and dear to us. And that is who we don't want to become. We want to become those that choose the right path. I cannot stress this enough. Hard work, perseverance, sweat, tears, and moments of frustration lead to moments of fulfillment and triumph, no matter the journey and no matter how long it takes you. Choose purpose over complacency and honesty over dishonesty. So ask yourself, where are you going? For most of you, 7 years ago, you started a journey that brought forth numerous changes to school policies, new faces to teach you familiar subjects, and growing expectations each year. All of those changes and steps brought you closer to this moment. You have all remained together, and with that, you share a common identity, the IOTA class of AMSA. From this experience, reflect tonight. And when your head hits that pillow, instead of reaching for your phone, checking your newest Instagram post, and whether or not everyone in this room has liked it, close your eyes and consider this. Where have you come from, and where are you going? Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2019. Introduce this year's Salutatorian, Jack Denson.
Hello, everyone. So if anyone here saw me on the last day of school, they saw me bawling like a baby. If they saw me on the second to last day of school, they also saw me bawling like a baby. So that raises the question of why. Why was I crying so hard to say goodbye? Because I know I'm not going to miss staying up late writing essays or waking up every morning at 5:55 and putting on a polo just to come in and smell some trees. So why was I crying? And I thought about this for a while and I settled on an answer. The real reason I was crying was because I no longer had an excuse to wear khakis every day. But then I thought about it some more and I thought, I don't need an excuse to wear khakis every day, so that can't be it. No, the real reason I was crying was because of these 118 kids right in front of me here today. Because I wasn't going to be able to see all of these shining faces every day, and I wasn't going to be able to learn surrounded by 118 of the friendliest, brightest, toughest, and most caring people I have ever met. When I was told I was going to be salutatorian, while I was sitting there stressing out about what to say in this speech and about how I was going to talk to so many people, I got 12 messages of congratulations from my classmates. That's 12 people who took the time out of their summer to send me a nice message about how they were proud of me and how they cared about me. So that was why I was crying, because I grew up with these kids. I watched them turn from scared 11-year-olds to the confident adults that we see here, ready to graduate today, and now it's time to say goodbye. So to say goodbye, I thought I'd share a few stories about the class of 2019 that I think really show who the class is. So my first story happened in 7th grade. We were all sitting in homeroom and we were told that AMSA was redoing their bell system. And the whole school got to vote on what the new sound for the bell was going to be. So us 7th graders thought this is a golden opportunity to look down this list and find the weirdest sound we can. And we did. We listened to all the noises and we settled on the gong as the weirdest noise to make the bell. So the entire 7th grade class and somehow the entire school voted for the gong to be our new sound to dismiss us 9 times a day, every day, for the next 6 years. And now, 9 times a day, every day, for the last 6 years, a loud gong has played on the speakers at 201 Forest Street, and I love it so much. I wouldn't switch it for any other noise. So, as that story kind of shows, we, in the class of 2019, don't really take things too seriously. But that doesn't mean we don't work hard. So, if I wanted to tell a story about how 2019 works hard, I could bring up how we're a member of every club, or nearly every club at AMSA, how we run every student-run event, how we dominate all the sports teams. But I think I'm going to tell another story. I have to go back to freshman year color wars to tell this story, when we were tasked with making a class video. And I don't know if you can tell by that groan there, but the video that we created was maybe the worst video I have ever seen. It was truly terrible. I watched it in preparation for the speech, and I could barely make it through. And what's worse, I've had hit the quan stuck in my head for 5 days. So the next year, it was sophomore year, and we all had motivation. We said, we cannot make the class video as bad as it was last year. And we decided we were going to work as hard as we could. And we did. We had drone shots, we had everyone involved, we had purple powder, and most importantly, we had Melissa absolutely kill it with the editing. She rocked it. And we had the best video in the school that year. And the next year, we kept it up. We had the best video in the school. And the year, we kept it up, and we had the best video in the school. So that's how hard we work. So these kids are the hardest workers you're ever going to meet, and I know they can do anything they set their minds to. But all that hard work doesn't mean they know how to take a break every now and then. So that brings me to my next story, which comes from February 5th, 2019. It happened to be the Tuesday following the Super Bowl. So for some reason, it's still unclear why, attendance on that day was somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 out of 119. That's 11 students were at AMSA and 108 were not. I heard some rumor about some sort of parade, but I think that's just a rumor. So we as a class had decided that spending the day with our friends on the streets of Boston was a little more important than one day of school, and I think that's totally fair. So that's it. Those are my stories about the class of 2019, and I want to wrap up with one message about the heart of the class, about why I was really crying. I love this class so much. I came here in 6th grade from Upton, Massachusetts, 30 minutes away. I had no friends, I knew no one, I had no connections at AMSA, and I had been to Marlborough maybe once or twice before. But never in 7 years did I feel alone at AMSA. The people you see here today made me feel loved, they made me feel like they cared about me, and they made me feel wanted every single day, and I am forever grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you to the class of 2019. Thank you for learning with me, thank you for laughing with me, thank you for growing up with me, and you're always going to be a part of who I am. Sorry about that. You're always going to be a part of who I am. Thank you. Stage your class of 2019 valedictorian, Anna Cherkinsky.
One second. Bear with me. I would like to welcome the faculty, teachers, friends and family, and of course the class of 2019. You will quickly find that public speaking is not my strong suit, so bear with me. However, despite the fact that I am shaking right now, I am so honored to be standing before you. I would like to begin by recognizing our wonderful administration, which is by far the superior one among the other 4 or 5 we've had. In all honesty, I lost track. To our amazing teachers and staff who have supported myself and my classmates for the past 7 years. I would personally like to express gratitude to my family, especially my mom, and of course I am grateful to my peers and friends I made on my journey. A special shout out goes to 3 beautiful souls, Kriti Singh and Kate and Megan Scott. I love you all, and I don't know how I would have survived these 7 years without you. People say that you only miss it once it's gone, and that feels very real right now. We must recognize that by attending AMSA, we have had a huge educational advantage compared to many other schools. We were given an opportunity to widen our array of knowledge and to conquer advanced education. Our teachers have done an exceptional job in guiding us, and while seniors in majority of other schools emphasize their 4 years, we can laugh in their face saying, try 7. 7 years is almost half of our lives. We've truly grown up together. Watching everyone grow from awkward, clueless middle schoolers to awkward, slightly less clueless adults has been a privilege, and I am so proud of each and every one of my classmates for making it through the path of high school at AMSA. As I become sentimental reading all your yearbook quotes, one word comes to mind: struggle. Of course, I suppose easy life is incredibly boring, so leaving AMSA, we can all conclude that we had a tremendous amount of fun, right? However, now that we can do nothing but reflect on our past challenges, it is important to realize the amount of support we've actually had. Not once in these 7 years have I suffered alone. We have suffered together, and that makes me feel a little bit better. And even when teachers intimidated us with a seemingly insurmountable workload through all-nighters, classwork, and more tests, quizzes, and essays than one should ever have to complete in a single lifetime, we have to remember that they did this out of love. The reality is that our teachers were preparing us for what is about to come. They were doing their job, and they were doing it well. We also have to remember all the personal moments we've had with teachers, like Mr. Bean's holiday, Big Silly Chinook, watching the Patriots games in hope of not having to do our calculus homework, #SoExtras, remembering to bring our pocket constitutions, space doesn't matter, and many, many more inside jokes, which I could keep on listing and keep myself and you all here for the entire summer, but I won't do that. The point is, I can genuinely say that our teachers had great personalities and worked hard to build our character. So teachers, we applaud you. And now to my peers. We grew up together and we helped each other grow. We have faced failures, but we have always picked ourselves up and came back even stronger. I'm sure many of you still cringe at the memory of our first class video, rest in peace. However, throughout the following 3 years, our class videos were phenomenal. We always gave it our all in clubs, sports, color wars, you name it. We persevered together and cheered on each other's successes. And sure, we had our disputes, but don't all families? We are a family. While some of us are as close as twins and others as third cousins twice removed, we're a family nevertheless. There are only 119 of us. We know each and every single one of us by face and name. We recognize each other in the crowds. I know that we will hold ourselves to high standards. We are royalty after all. I hope that we will continue to hold responsibility in high regards. I wish for us to be patient with people and time, and I hope we all grow into active members of our community, kind and focused adults, and continue being loyal and loving friends. But most importantly, I want us to remember where we come from. AMSA and the class of 2019, our class, are our roots. I want us to be proud of our roots. Remember your teachers, for they were looking out for you. Look around and take a mental picture of your peers, for they have built you up. In minutes, we will all get an opportunity to become individuals in this enormous world. Some of us will go on adventures, others are going to universities all around this nation and beyond, and I am proud to say that a few are going into service of our great nation. As different as we are, our experience unites us. And even though you want to fly away, remember this and be proud. Well, congratulations to my kings and queens. I wish you all the best on your individual journeys. Carry integrity, excellence, and community with you. You all will remain royalty no matter where you go. I hope to see you all again soon. And as we leave to pursue our futures, a particular quote from Winnie the Pooh comes to mind. How happy am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment that we've been waiting for. We will now be conferring of the diplomas. We ask that row G on this side please be clear for our 2B graduates to have the easy access to the stage. And then this side aisle to be clear as well, so that way they can line up properly. Thank you.
First graduate of the class of 2019, I'd like to welcome Matthew Amaguni.
Peter Andre. Beischlein. Matthew Bennett. Mark Bibiu. Rose Bishop.
I'll give you a hug too. It's fine.
Rachel Bowen.
I'm hungry.
Brian Boxell. Madison Bremen. Allison Cash. Christy Cavalcanti. Julie Cavalcanti. Mira Chada. Sarah Shankara. Anna Cherkinsky. Nicholas Ciolino.
Thank you.
Robert Coakley. Emma Cohen. Julia Rose Cohen. Isabella Carolina Costa. Suleiman Koulibaly.
Handsome guy.
Phoebe Cox. Aaron Dean. Jack Denson. Gabrielle Dew. Emma Donahue. Lauren Duras. Alenda Evans. Nicholas Faber. Nadine Farhat. Amelia Fatakova. Krista Fillion. Catherine Fisher. Sarah Fisher. Eva Forte. Griffin Frechette. David Gelati. Nicholas Gopal.
Why are you so good looking?
Aaron Gawaski. Stephen Greenberg. Reese Grinnell. Joseph Hall.
Bring it in.
Mama baby! Ryan Hennessy. Daniel Hockman.
Yes.
Samantha Jondro. Alexander Joseph. Julia Kissel. Ava Kana. Julia Kraplin. Kimberly Ann Lang. Kira Lee. Nathan Lee. Yekaterina Longinova. Matthew Makasha. Kevin McCauley. Mahesh Mahendekar. Zachary Menzali. Michael Mason. Gregory Malone. Gabriel Menendez.
Hosseini.
Sikorsky. Sahana Sule. Alexander Sun. Sarah Tolland. Polina Surakova. Madeline Foreski. Mega Varghese. Jack Vasiliadis. Isabella Vera. Kavya Vishwanathan. Andrew Veronin. Rachel Long. Michael Ward.
Watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2019. Linzey, Interim Executive Director of AMSA.
Okay, oh gosh. All right, I haven't even started speaking yet, and this has been really an emotional evening.
We love you, Miss Linzey!
I love you too. I really, really do. You guys are a really special class. This is my third graduation, and typically I make it through. Until now, but I've been crying off and on all night already. And I think I'm ad-libbing here, so take it for what it's worth. Most of the time when I had an opportunity to speak in front of you guys, somebody would yell out, "We love you, Mom." And I don't love you, Mom! And I can't tell you how much that meant to me. And it may never happen again, so it's something really special. So thank you, because you know I love you too. Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. Good evening, graduates. So happy to be here with you all tonight. First, a huge thank you to all those who worked so hard to make tonight such a special event. Thank you to your teachers who have given so much of themselves to you to bring you to this point in your academic careers. Also, we mustn't forget your parents. Thank you, parents, for sharing your children with us for the past 7 years. By choosing to send your children to AMSA, you asked us to join with you in their academic journeys. You trusted us to educate them, to keep them safe, both physically and emotionally. That's a responsibility that we will never take lightly. Thank you for partnering with us. It's been an amazing journey. Class of 2019 was the first class at AMSA to participate in our senior capstone project this year. For better or worse, right? The work they did was over and above their regular academic requirements. It was optional this year, and yet we had 25 students who completed the project, which were on display at our recent senior night, and they did an outstanding job. Seniors, if you completed the senior capstone project this year, please stand and remain standing. Their achievement, and a special symbol has been placed next to their names in the graduation program tonight. We are very proud of their extra effort and the many hours they dedicated to their projects. Thank you for a job well done. Okay. I have a couple more thank yous before I begin my formal remarks tonight. Nearly 2.5 years ago, AMSA's Board of Trustees made a very important decision that would change the trajectory of our school. This decision would effectively end the turbulent times of the past and open up new opportunities for growth in our community. Their decision was risky, and there was no guarantee that it would be successful. But they took the risk, and they asked Dr. Lewis to be AMSA's executive director, and I would like to thank them one more time for making that decision. But that decision had a tremendous impact on Dr. Lewis's life. He made a huge personal sacrifice to leave the classroom and lead our school. We all know that he's a teacher down to his very core of his being, so back to the classroom he must go. But what Dr. Lewis might not realize is that while he's been the executive director at AMSA, he's been teaching all of us in the biggest classroom of his career. We have all been his students as he taught us how to build a community of trust, respect, and collaboration. He taught us how to laugh again, find joy in our classrooms and in our offices, and how to stand strong and fight for what's right. He taught us how to kia kaha, and he taught me who I am. Dr. Lewis, on behalf of the entire AMSA community, thank you for your service. We could not appreciate or love you more. Where would we be today without him? I don't know. Okay, so dear graduates, tonight is actually your night. And so I want to thank you for your commitment to academic excellence, for all of the years of hard work, the sleepless nights, and the joy you shared with each of us every day. Thank you for believing in AMSA, even when things were rough. Thank you for believing in our mission, our core values, and the education that we offered you. This will be my last opportunity to speak with you all together. I have cherished each moment I have spent with you. I know that you're aware that a little piece of my heart goes with you as you walk out those doors and into the world tonight. But more than anything else, I want you to know that I believe in you. And I believe that you can change our world. In fact, I know you can. You can change our world for good, and honestly, we really need you to do that. AMSA has given you everything you need to do great things. Along with your families, we have given you all the tools that you'll need. You're intelligent, you've learned how to work hard, you're creative and curious and determined, and you're problem solvers. You've learned how to push through setbacks, and you've learned how to work together to meet the challenges of the past 7 years. You're welcoming and kind and thoughtful and compassionate, and maybe just as important to all those attributes, you know how to have a really good time. Yeah. You've created a close-knit community, which was so evident to all of us after the recent senior breakfast, when we couldn't get you to leave the cafeteria to start your senior drive around the building. We couldn't get them out. There was like people waiting outside to see you go around, but you wouldn't leave. And I've never seen so many tears at a senior breakfast ever. And I've only been around for 3 or 4 of them, and I was talking to one of the teachers who's been around forever, and they said, ever. So there's the history of your class. You've learned all of these things in our classrooms and in our clubs and our athletic program. You've learned to take care of each other. and our community through service with organizations such as the National Honor Society, Student Government, Leaders for Tomorrow, and UNICEF. Yay! That's right. Okay. You will bring new ideas, energy, and inspiration into the world, and it's really exciting to think about. So before you go, I have a few pieces of advice for you, so take this for what it's worth too. Okay, number one, I cannot overstate the importance of collaboration enough. AMSA tends to be a very competitive environment, but that all changes once you enter the workplace and even college. Success is all about your team. Surround yourselves with people who you can trust. People who work as hard as you do, and then play to each other's strengths with everything you've got. You'll be absolutely amazed at what you're going to be able to accomplish. In life, you'll meet and work with all kinds of different people, with all kinds of different ideas and perspectives. Some are going to agree with everything you say, and then others are going to look at you like you've lost your mind most of the time. But it's important that you learn how to work with everyone. It's important to build relationships based on mutual respect, trust, and when you can, with love. Remember that sometimes all you can do is try to change one heart and one mind at a time. This takes time, patience, and the ability to really listen to people, and the ability to be genuinely open to another person's opinions and perspectives. It's always worth the investment of your time and energy. And number three, I've found that for the most part, love conquers all. Love with your whole heart. And even when there's nothing else you can do to solve a problem, you can always be kind, caring, and you can treat people right. Class of 2019, we wish you all the best this world has to offer. We are so very proud of you. Remember that AMSA will always be your home. We are a community. We are a family. Please join the Alumni Association. We need you to continue to be part of this great school. Help us make AMSA better. Visit often and share what you've learned with all of us. We're always better when we're working together. We believe in you. We know you will always have a deep impact on the world around you. Make us proud. We love you and congratulations.
Hello, welcome, and thanks to everyone for coming tonight. Go Eagles, Kick-a-ha. Before I get started, a few words of thanks. Thanks to Miss Richards. I don't know where Miss Richards is, but she had a big role in putting this together, so thank you, Miss Richards. Lynn McCluskey, who's not here, also had a really big role. And thank you to our fantastic senior advisors, Mr. Proulx and Ms. Johnson. And a big, huge, enormous round of applause to our amazing faculty. Sitting over there, our amazing teachers. And to Miss Linzey, Mr. Nawrocki, Miss Murphy, and Mr. Amaral, our administrative team. All right, I'm going to try not to get choked up, but I probably will. I'm personally deeply grateful to Miss Linzey. Here I go, getting choked up. Miss Linzey has done a wonderful job leading our school the past 2.5 years. I really didn't do anything. I just smiled and waved. She did the work. And Mr. Nawrocki. And now Miss Murphy too. And Miss Linzey did so with great energy, a commitment to do what is right, a large dose of humility, and great love for all of us, as you can always see when she gives everybody a hug. Each and every day, I have watched how Miss Linzey has created an environment, a school of trust. Miss Linzey has created a home away from home for our students and our staff, a place where we all want to be. Thank you, Miss Linzey. Thank you to AMSA's Board of Trustees. Mr. Jarrett is here, and there's many members of the board out there for guiding our school. Thank you as well to all the moms and the dads and the sisters and the brothers and the uncles and the cousins and the friends and the neighbors. Most of all, thank you and congratulations to our seniors, the class of 2019. You have made all of us so very proud. A few weeks ago, when Ms. Linzey and I recorded our thanks to the senior class, we said that our nation, America, needs you. America needs your joy. America needs your integrity. America needs your kindness. So why do I say this? Why do I say that our nation needs you? Let me answer with one last history lesson. Yes! All right, let's go back to 1960. Who was president in 1960, or I should say 1961? Who was elected in 1960? Yes, excellent. Very good. In his 1960 inaugural address, President John F. Kennedy declared that his victory in the 1960 election was an indication that leadership of America had changed hands. The torch, let me try to put on my Boston accent, the torch, Kennedy said, has been passed to a new generation of Americans. That was really bad. When Kennedy spoke those words, he was speaking of those like himself who were born in the 1900s, who had fought in World War II, and who had witnessed the origins of the Cold War. 60 years later, or 59 years later, much in our society and our country has changed. The Cold War, fortunately, has ended. And our economy has been radically transformed by technology, all the cell phones that we carry with us. Much has changed, but many things have not. Poverty is still a problem, and inequality has increased dramatically. Great strides have been made in civil rights, but as the 2017 rally in Charlottesville, Virginia demonstrated, many, many more great strides need to be taken. There are as well new concerns: nuclear proliferation, the environment, terrorism, healthcare, the rising cost of college education, and as well as intense and ongoing debates about our immigration policies. And unlike the America of Kennedy's time, today much of us have lost faith and trust in our basic institutions. Pessimism and cynicism are everywhere. Political scandals and business scandals have fueled much of that anger. Add to this the everyday divisiveness of American politics, and the end result is a nation that seems stuck, a nation that lurches from crisis to crisis. Given all of this, it is no surprise that most Americans have a very pessimistic outlook about the future of our country. When I last checked the polling data presented at realclearpolitics.com, very good website, 57% of Americans believed our nation was headed in the wrong direction. This is not good, and this is where you come into the picture. Our challenge as a nation, and your challenge as citizens, will be to break this pattern, to renew our nation's collective sense of purpose, and to harness all the amazing wonders of science and technology on behalf of the common good. This sounds really daunting, but remember, all of you survived and thrived at AMSA. Know as well that this great project, your generation's great project, will not be done overnight, and it will not be done in any one single stroke. It will be a great and difficult challenge. But it's a challenge that I know, and all of us on the stage and in this audience know you are capable of accomplishing, with others like you, with others across our country, and with one step and one piece at a time. This belief that I have is not simply based on what I would like to think. It is based on what I know. Mr. Nawrocki, Mr. Proulx, Ms. Linzey, Anna, and Jack presented much of the evidence of your intellectual curiosity, your courage, your compassion, and your energy. I too have the evidence. In 2012, some of you may remember, I was fortunate to teach many of you in grade 6. I think we were in one of the math rooms, weren't we? Yeah. 207? Mr. Peters' room, yeah. That was a good time. Rock and Roll Fridays. Jolly Rancher Fridays. In 2017, I was fortunate to travel to Europe with many of you on our amazing World War II trip. Last year, I taught many of you U.S. history, and this year, I was privileged to teach alongside Dr. Dre and Miss Waldron, several of you in our Vitruvian class. Yay, Vitruvian. And what I witnessed and what I've heard from my colleagues about AMSA's class of 2019 is truly remarkable. I have seen joy in learning. This year, when I would go off to Vitruvian class, and then I would come back and I'd sit down with Miss Linzey, and Miss Linzey would say, "Hey, how did the class go?" And I would joke with Miss Linzey constantly that I didn't really need to do anything. That our seniors in the Vitruvian class, they didn't really need a teacher. No offense to Miss Waldron and Dr. Dre. All they needed really, all you guys needed was a topic or an idea, and you would run with it, you would debate it and analyze it and figure it out. I could have just been blowing bubbles and you guys would have run the class by yourself. I've seen joy in learning, I've seen integrity. I saw integrity in Nathan Lee, when the first thing he said upon receiving the AMSA Eagle Award was how his winning of the award would not have been possible without his parents, his teachers, and his friend, Robbie Copeland. Integrity. I have seen kindness. 2 weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago, or something like that, I was walking to my car, and Mr. Smith came over to me and said he had to show me something. Now, all of you know Mr. Smith. That's a very serious scholar of literature, particularly Shakespeare, which I finally read after he encouraged me. He encouraged me to read some Shakespeare, and I read Macbeth. So I'm very thankful to Mr. Smith. And on this afternoon, I could tell that Mr. Smith had been moved. He told me of a book that Kate had given him, an 1884 edition of Rime of the Ancient Mariner. He told me as well of a painting that Amelia had made for him, a painting with a quote from Hamlet. Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Mr. Smith told me how fortunate he was, how lucky he was to be able to share his passion for literature with such wonderful students. Kennedy's 1960 inaugural address was a moving call for a new generation of Americans to rise and to transform our nation and to fight for what is right. Kennedy concluded his speech by urging fellow Americans to ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. 80 years later, and to AMSA's class of 2019, we ask the same of you. AMSA's class of 2019, our nation needs you, and you have what it takes. You are articulate, you are thoughtful, you are caring leaders. You have joy, you have integrity, and you have kindness. You have changed our school. You have brightened our lives. And now on this day, you start a new chapter. Go forth, welcome the challenge that each new generation must rise to. Go forth and change our country. Go forth and change the world. Congratulations to AMSA's class of 2019. We have one last official duty left, and Mr. Proulx and Miss Johnson.
Pass it off to the Salutatorian and Valedictorian.
Oh, excellent. Jack and Anna are going to do it.
Yeah!